Welcome to the best scores of 2022. It's been a wonderful year for Osu's competitive scene, and the amount of groundbreaking plays and barriers broken are pretty much uncountable. However, me and a team of people tried our best to compile all the amazing plays from this year into one video. This video will have around 200 scores that fit into 15 general categories, aiming at being as thorough and balanced as possible. It's a tall order trying to find the best plays for all these skill sets, so it's very possible some may be missed. But overall, I feel like these plays represent 2022 extremely well. First, I know what you may be thinking already. It's very obvious that Emrek swept the competition in many areas this year, and it's literally being memed upon that this sort of recap video would just be a compilation of his scores. But Osu has more skill sets and interesting plays than you might think, if you just look hard enough. Don't worry, he will definitely have his place in this video, but I think it would be more entertaining and fun for everyone if we learn about some lesser known players and plays as well. So sit back, grab some popcorn, because this is going to be a long one. This category was to show the absolute limit of aim, speed, and often high approach rate reading that players could pull off. You won't see FCs here as they don't show the true limits of a player. Those were left for other categories.
Kreuz's high star maps were extremely controversial when being ranked, due to most of them being completely unplayable for the best players at the time. Looking at Illness Lillin's leaderboard, it appears that's still true to this day, except for one player. Clocking in at 9.5 stars and increasing to 10.23 stars with Hard Rock, it's one of Kreuz's most brutal maps. Nomad was seemingly too easy for Emrek as he quickly got a 1 miss, but couldn't quite snag the FC. Keep in mind that the leaderboard is filled with miscounts well into the double digits if players can pass in the first place. So Emrek does what he does best, pushing himself, adding Hard Rock. The aim required for the 280 BPM streams is already brutal enough where one bad over-aim causes you to fail. It's almost light work for Emrek, who shows even on CS 5.7, this map is more than playable, and potentially even FCable. Artless maps were made to challenge the players of the past with no mod or even Hard Rock, but adding DT seemed inconceivable until this year. Shimon, shredding as he always does, set a 95% 100 miss DT play back in March, proving this map was somewhat playable, and later improved it to 65 misses. Emrek gave the map a DT attempt in early November, and what followed was one of the best god modes the game has ever seen.
Nice, dude.
Emrek routinely sets FCs or near FCs on maps which are already incomprehensible to the rest of us. His scores and various clips cause explosive reactions in Twitch chat and all over social media. Meanwhile, Emrek is often unfazed by his skill. It's an interesting dynamic to see his livestream chat lose their composure while Emrek says 1 or maybe 2 words max in monotone. It makes sense after all. After 14 1200 PP scores, why should one more be a big deal? This begs a question. With the unbelievably high standards he holds for himself, what does Emrek find impressive?
What the fuck? Holy.
This category is similar to raw mechanics, but focusing on the limits of aim. Plays here were a bit tricky to pick honestly, since I have no idea how to judge them. With many plays by FG Sky and Badu being unranked, you can't use leaderboards or the PP system to be the judge for you. I think everyone can see the plays that they pump out are impressive, but how would you compare, say, a 10.22 star 18 miss versus this run on an unranked Sendan life? I don't personally grind aim maps hard enough to understand, so what's the point of guessing someone's best play, well, when you can just ask them? So I did, and here's what they chose.
Let's see if you're right. Old White Cats, holy shit. Let's see what Old White Cat can do.
The two big aim plays this year were both accomplished by White Cat. His talent to FC or almost FC these unbelievably difficult aim maps is second to none, somehow still improving despite averaging less than 700 play count per month. The biggest kicker is if all star rating values were reverted back to pre-Zexar values, this would be one of the highest star FCs in the game at a whopping 10.5 stars.
Okay, Old White Cat is pretty fucking cracked, I have to say. Holy shit, Old White Cat, dude.
As if his no-mod run wasn't good enough, his hard rock aim ability and awkward aim skill all came together to peak in this run. To this day, there are only 4 other no-mod passes, all of which are miles away from his miscount. Once FG Sky got his tablet at the beginning of the year, he was released from his mouse drift shackles. It's worth keeping in mind that while mouse drift can be countered on full screen jumps, at his level it's nearly impossible to readjust since the maps are unrelenting. After 10 years of training his reading on every type of approach rate imaginable and a setup buff gifted to him by the player's skill, FG Sky finally had the perfect combination to grind aim maps harder than anyone before him, raising his skill cap to unbelievable heights. Hopefully this can inspire some players out there now that he's proven with his immense determination that 10 and 11 star jumps are within the realm of possibility. Badu's strongest skill was always aim, but the scores he considered his best were pretty surprising. Around last year, he was pushing his hard rock miscounts on a full moon night to their absolute limits. He has a 23 miss on Piggy's Destruction with hard rock, for example, which is 10.3 stars and beats White Cat's no mod submitted miscount. The other leaderboards are similar, where he absolutely stomps every other top player.
This category is for DT maps that you would possibly find in someone's top plays. I mainly put maps that had a decent balance of jumps and streams, and left more extreme speed or aim to other categories. Alright, so flaming hot take. I think that Emrek is a pretty good player. I know, how daring of me. I'm sure everybody knows that he's leagues upon leagues better than the rest of the ranking. In many ways too, not just farming. At one point, he almost held a 4,000 PP gap between him and Lifeline. Currently, it's a little bit smaller at only around 3,000, but still. We're also used to him being at the top, but how often have you tried to truly grasp how ahead of the competition he really is? Initially, when making this section, I thought to myself, okay, maybe I'll give all plays above 1.1k a shoutout. That seems like a round and fair number. Before 2023, there were 45 of these. Now out of those 45, Emrek has a total of 33, which is 73% of all plays above 1.1k. 73%! All these unbelievably talented players are grinding as hard or even harder than Emrek, yet not even making a dent in the mountain of scores he's acquired. After the rise of countless prodigies over the years and combining everyone's efforts into one, the entire rest of the world has only managed 12 scores that are 1.1k and above. It almost feels unfair that I can't be more balanced. 900 and 1000 PP scores are still extremely impressive for practically the entire player base, but that's the truth. And that's likely how Emmerich will be remembered in this era of Osu, a legend who made the rankings completely unfair. Despite all this, I still wanted to include other players somehow to keep this section a little more interesting, but it's completely impossible without removing or ignoring Emmerich. Time and time again, I check other players' top plays, and Emmerich has FC'd nearly all of them. I check Lifeline, wonder what he's up to, and his top 5 scores were all beaten by Emmerich. Well, okay. What about Akolibid, since he's number 3? Well, his entire top plays have been done by Emmerich. Even in certain situations where Emmerich hasn't beaten the other's score in PP, he's usually not far behind, or has just never tried the map. And let's be honest, even if he did try, the same thing would happen again. I almost encourage you to check yourself because it's genuinely hilarious. Pick any top player, just click on a random 900 PP plus top play and Emmerich will usually be there. And if he's there, he's likely done well. Now, you might be thinking, alright then, he does seem quite good, but why should I care? Why does this even matter? Well, a question that gets brought up every once in a while is, who is the greatest player of all time? Right now it seems to be a debate between Emmerich versus Cookiezi. Many of you might already firmly believe it's Emmerich, but many older players who are around to experience Cookiezi in his prime point out that the greatest player of all time status should consider the time the player spent at the top, time that has yet to pass for Emmerich. During Cookiezi's most dominant points, the difference in PP we see back then was very similar in ratio to the gap we see now. Obviously, Cookiezi was dealing with a much more primitive version of the competitive scene we have today, but the legacy he set as the indisputable GOAT is engraved in Osu history. In most people's minds, Emmerich has already achieved the greatest of all time status. But what I'm now interested in is if you'll achieve the same status that Cookiezi had years ago. With new prodigies popping up all the time, and none being able to compete with Emmerich, I'm slowly starting to think he will. He's in an excellent position to do so. Only time will tell.
Oh my god, okay. I don't even care. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. I did not expect to... I wasn't even going for people record. I didn't think I was that good of act. I didn't think I would get that good act, dude. Holy fuck. The act is actually insane.
Since many of Lifeline's scores are set on very similar maps, many of which are already FC'd by Emmerich, I thought it would only make sense to just show the two that I think are most important. His 1100 PP score on Kizuna Music, and his first real 1100 PP. It's unfortunate timing to see him pop off right as 2023 begins, especially with his no-title DTFC, but this video is only about 2022. You may be confused to hear that Lifeline had an 1100 PP score back in November 2022, but it's true. It just doesn't show up on his profile due to an unfortunate score v1.
It's horrible.
Right before the year ended, Lifeline clutched with his top play on December 31st, and his first submitted 1.1k. While the act is suboptimal, it seemed to ease his nerves enough for him to FC. With 24 1000 PP scores, and his first 1k being set back in October 2020, this was a long time in the making. Oh my god.
You are right! I'm not mind blocked in this shit. This shit is so easy! 1.1, right? Oh my god! Oh my god.
Shimon's big play from this year was definitely his Dark Flight Dreamer DTFC. With Emmerich pretty much DTFCing all the possible high-end maps, there's very little high-end unique scores for other players to aim for, so being the first to FC this 2015 Classic, while also setting such a high bar for accuracy for other DTFCs to come, this score is nothing short of legendary. While being memed upon for choking many of his scores, Shimon also has an incredible ability to play these longer stream maps. He was the first to DTFC Golden Wolf's World's End after all. This map, however, is structured a little less friendly to DT. It has no extreme dip spikes, and seems like a very solid tester for near 9-star 270 BPM consistency. Of course, Shimon has his usual pristine accuracy, but chokes in one of the final sections of the map. It would have been 1119 PP for FC. With all his 1000 PP plays each being nerfed by reworks, it was satisfying to see him finally FC this and get 1.1k. In 2023 he's already gotten much more than a singular 1.1k, so I'm excited what the future will bring for him.
What? How? How? What? Dude! There's not even a HDHRSS on this! Okay. Nice. That you are. Let's go. Wait, that's 852. Wait, that's so much. I didn't know.
This small category contains interesting AR-11 plays that we feel didn't fit anywhere else.
The Kush Van Man is one of the most addicted, dedicated players in the entire game. The word dedicated has been used so frequently that it's nearly cliche at this point, but it's no joke. He's played this map over 6,000 times. He achieved the first DT-only FC 3 years ago and has spent a lot of time since trying the map with DTHR. This map is absolutely brutal, sporting long 267 BPM cut streams, doubles, and easily shit-missable kick sliders, all at CS 6.5.
Oh my fucking god.
Did you think 6,000 attempts was a lot? Think again, because the Cushvan man has poured over double into this map at a whopping 15,000 attempts. This time, cut streams are taken to an even higher level than pure Ruby, requiring an absurd amount of aim control on top of the small circle size. I can only imagine trying to legitimately read the cut streams, since I can barely keep up while only watching it. 90% accuracy sounds bad out of context, but the converted UR for this play is 71. Certainly one of the best plays of the year that you might not have seen.
I was fucking begging not to die.
$943 PP for FC is a shocking number coming from Proxy Codon, especially when his plays tend to be underweighted and his current top plays look like this. He makes it look farmable, but no one has the skill set for all the weirdness it brings. It has awkward geometric jumps and flow aim that give 0 breaks, nonsensical finger control that can easily tank your AC on OD11, and even bursts that overlap themselves. It's amazing how this play is even doable at all. While he's gotten better combo runs, his best play is this 97% one miss run with 0 slider breaks. Only one miss off from raising his top play by almost 150 PP.
This category was pretty simple. Generally, stream maps in the range of 180 to 240 BPM went here.
When you think of Flow Aim and Hard Rock, I guarantee this was one of the first plays to come to mind. Not only is this absurdly spaced for 220 BPM and CS 5.5, you need precise flow aim to hit the constant accelerating and decelerating bursts. Unlike many other maps with high PP scores, this map does not hold back its stream patterning to show what 9-star flow aim can look like. It makes you wonder what the Hard Rock PP record could be if more maps like these existed.
What? No fucking way! What? The absolute fuck did I just do?
Obviously, after talking about Emrek's play, we can't gloss over Shige's play. He's pretty much the only person that can compete with Emrek's flow aim right now on these high-end maps, and can even one-up him with the signature mod, Hidden. A ranked Shige 1K has been a meme since 2016, and the fact that he's gotten so unbelievably close has solidified that into OS history. If this is the map he'll get it on, I guarantee the community celebration will be second to none. In one of the biggest flexes of the year, Shige displays what he does best: unbelievable flow aim. This map was controversial when it was initially ranked in 2019 due to the sheer difficulty of the zigzag patterns in the chorus and the stacked cut streams at the end. That didn't dissuade Shige at the time, who managed to hit each set of zigzags but wasn't able to put together a pass or large combo. Fast forward to today, and he's back and better than ever. So it almost feels natural that he would be the player to make this map look FCable. However, it cannot be understated what kind of aim control is required to even pass this map, let alone FC it. While his accuracy isn't outlandish, Whitecat nearly matched it at 97.89, and Vaxei and Rafis have plays above 96, he has the best miscount by 14. Complementing the miscount, what truly distinguishes this run is that Shige only had one combo break before the brutal end streams, an unfortunate slider break in the first chorus. Add Hidden on top of everything, and you have a play that needs to be seen to be believed. Here's another example of Emrek's proficiency in awkward flow aim combined with his comfort on high-end stamina. The ending's long 220 streams with awkward angle changes are the main reason after 3 years of top flow aim players giving the map a shot, there are only 3 other passes, none even close to his miscount or combo. Funnily enough, his miss was on one of the easiest jump sections of the map, afterwards hitting the entire ending. This is already 909 PP with the miss, but 1054 if FC.
Oh my god!
Chronostasis, while still a challenging 8.5-star marathon map, has been FC'd a few times with no mod. People were quick to label it a farm map after players like Nick1324 achieved his first 1k on it, and Utami got a similarly high accuracy FC. What was less expected was the map to garner a strong hard rock play. Clocking in at CS 5.7 with hard rock, a brutal diff spike, and the rest of the map still requiring your focus. It's a consistency nightmare. No one had passed the map with hard rock until White Cat posted his 99.28% 2 miss 1 SB run. Without the first miss, this would have been the Hard Rock PP record at 1,141 PP, beating Emrek's 1,132 that would happen a month after. If he FC'd, it would have been a whopping 1,242 PP. You may have forgotten that Baxay was active during the first couple months of 2022. He incorporated flow aim into his sessions in late 2021, and that grind continued into January with a few highly desired scores. He was the first person to FC Gobkin's version of Honesty with Hard Rock, and achieved the highest accuracy Hard Rock FC on Raise My Sword. Emrek has since FC'd Honesty, and Karcher got within a single 100 on Raise My Sword, but they all deserve to be mentioned. Mind the Gap. While this is no longer the highest combo on the entire map set, if you exclude the 160 BPM difficulty, no one comes close. This map is 10 minutes long, with 7 minutes of it being a constant stream and note lock hell. Even though this play was set 9 days into the year, it was still one of the best.
No! What?
A pretty straightforward category. Plays that push the limits or were very high accuracy, both went here.
Shit. Snake Eyes. Excuse me. Osa's Chief Gambler wins big on a map he's been trying for years. An improved accuracy HDD TFC on ROG Unlimitation. The moment he achieved the ACK fix, he started to try the map 3 mod. Now, depending on who you ask, Eterna achieved his 3 mod FC on December 31st, 2022 or January 1st, 2023. Since I, Frenzy, wrote this part of the script, and it was approximately 8 PM on December 31st when Eterna set the score according to his local time, I'm going to include it here too. Before Eterna squeezed out his 3 mod FC before the end of the year, Broaz achieved the first HRD TFC a couple weeks earlier with 85.8% accuracy. Let it be known that streaming 330 BPM is not normal. It requires clicking 22 times per second. There are no other words for these scores.
No fucking way! No way! No way!
Ascension to Heaven DT was Eterna's other prominent raw speed score in 2020, quickly followed up by an 88.71% 3 mod FC with only 350s. That accuracy was already stellar on OD 11.1, but he wasn't satisfied. Just like with ROG Unlimitation, Eterna returned to this map once again in 2022 to improve his old score. He did so in flying colors, achieving a 96.4% 3 mod FC with 0 50s. To put into perspective how absurd that is, he had lower AC on his DT only run with OD 9.8 2.5 years ago. He accomplished better accuracy on OD 11.1 than he did OD 9.8. The score was also the PP record, temporarily dethroning Emrek until he FC'd Marianne the following week. Other than the tapping speed, Eterna's relentless pursuit of the scores he believes he can achieve, playing maps hundreds of times and seemingly mitigating mind block, is what makes this score so impressive. This map has been possible for quite a while, with players having the tapping but not the aim, or the aim but not the tapping, except for Emrek. He actually got a run past the hard part, but his nerves bested him, getting 5 misses. On a subsequent run, he handled them a little better, comboing slightly farther to award him a whopping 1275 PP even with the misses. Few maps can test your stamina like There Are No Angels here. With its low aim requirement but absurd stamina, it's been a popular stamina practice or benchmark for the best DT players. Shimon's 98% DT play is currently the highest known accuracy, beating other stamina beasts like Eterna, Arison, Red Pixel, and Mighty Doc.
Wait, that's 97, I think. What the fuck?
With how unfortunately often Shimon seems to choke good AK runs, it must have been satisfying to achieve the map's first DTFC with only 4 100s.
Finger control is a bit of a vague term, but it can be best defined as maps with a changing or complex rhythm. Many high-end finger control plays could also fit into the speed or stamina category, but we're mainly reserving that for longer streams.
Mathy is synonymous with playing drum and bass maps with double time, and this play represents the apex of his skill in 2022. 273 BPM bursts and jumps are littered everywhere throughout the map, and disregarding the intro, there is only one break in the middle. Perhaps it doesn't look impressive with the existence of other DT plays with bigger jumps, higher AR, and faster streams, but one glance at the DT leaderboards for this map will tell you everything you need to know about how special of a play this is.
What? What? What did I just do? What the fuck is this? What is this? What the fuck is this score? What is this score? What is this FC? What? 978. I just wanted to improve my my miscount. I just wanted to improve my fucking miscount.
Here's another example of Matthew's ability on drum and bass maps. Checking the leaderboards, this map is more in contention for other top players, but what distinguishes Matthew's play is his accuracy. He got only 4 100s on OD 10.4 finger control, while also not missing a single slider end. The second best act is by Emrek with 21 more 100s. In the same vein as Clarity, a Sugar Business's finger control seems completely un-FCable by any other top player. With the map only having a handful of DT passes, all with extremely low combo, Matthew makes gaining PP off these kinds of maps look much easier than it actually is.
No way! No way! It's done! It's done! Yes! A Sugar Business, it's them!
Arison had a relatively quiet 2022 in comparison to 2021, but he still shredded through some tapping maps with DT. This map is the epitome of his skill set, with killer 261 BPM doubles, quads, quints, longer bursts, and everything in between. The aim control at this speed is no joke either, with spacing variations found within nearly every single longer burst. You should already mind the leaderboard gap on his submitted run, but he has a much better 97.45% run that was not submitted due to Score V1. The only recording we could find of it was from a spectator, so apologies for the lower quality. If you move away from finger control that is required due to raw speed, Ekaro shines as insurmountably the best finger control player. Two plays in particular substantiate this. His 99.39% on FFFFF, yes, that's the title of the song, and a 98% one-miss run on Asteroid Field of Decaplets. Ekaro makes these maps look easy, which can lead to others vastly underestimating his skill. While people are closer to his accuracy on 5Fs, He completely outclasses other high-level speed and finger control players on Asteroid Field of Decaplets. 3% better than Mathy, 4% better than Red Pixel, and 5% better than Emrek. In addition to the finger control, these maps are awkward to aim due to the maps being patterned in a completely different way. You can rewatch these replays countless times and see something new every time, which establishes Ekiro as one of the best players in 2022.
For this category, I defined old as anything from 2012 and older. Scores on iconic maps were often old, though not always, so I felt they fit together. There's much more lore and detailed history that I wish I could go into for most of the maps here, but it would just be an unbelievable amount of work. In many ways, Yamiori feels like one of the final bosses of Osu. It was an unbelievably hard ranked map for the time, being one of the few ranked 8 stars. It's an incredibly intense song, and it's been the site of heavy competition for almost 6 years for a potential FC. What immediately set it apart from the other hard maps during the time is the fact that it was just barely playable, and possibly FCable, by the best. I think everybody knows about CookieZ's legendary run a month after the map was ranked, choking a high 900, back when the PP record was only 800 on Freedom Dive. In the years following, there were many players who could manage a high combo, nearing CookieZ's run but not beating him. With the PP motivation, and the FC seeming oh so close, that was enough motivation for attempts to continue for several years. Progress was actually quite steady, with people eventually beating CookieZ's combo, and miscounts slowly decreasing. Despite almost 6 years passing, and everyone and their mom giving the map an attempt, the map remained standing. With Skill, a popular community member and a score fanatic, creating the Osu All-Stars Twitter account, there is now a safe and more official way to add bounties to maps. The first significant bounty was by Pillow, who put a $100 price tag on ending the curse. Later in 2021, a $1,000 bounty was sent in by Kieran, on top of the $100, that came with a 2-week time limit. It seemed a little bit too hopeful, as the time frame came and went with the map still standing. Fast forward to February 2022, where Broiler was announced to have donated $1,000, this time with no time limit. After even more time passing, and no significant progress, 3 large donations came in at the end of June, and not before long, the total reached $3,333. The massive amount of money was a double-edged sword, with it obviously being a huge motivator for players to grind. It also caused an unfathomable amount of nerves. On an FC run, not only did players have to carry the weight of slaying the 6-year streak on this legendary map, and their own mind block, they also need to know that a singular miss will lose them out on the $3,333. Karcher, after a relatively low number of attempts compared to other players, was the first to finally seal the deal. Emmerich wasn't as active in this section as others, but still snagged a few overdue FCs. The amount of first DT FCs he has would be practically impossible to go over, but here are some of the main ones. The leaderboard of Fake Promise reminds me of Just Awake, with how it's a who's who of the best DT players of our era. Every speed player you know, and don't, has given this map a shot, and likely missing near the diff spike. If they comboed through that, the classically awkward jumps that filled the rest of the map were sure to mess them up. While not as mechanically impressive as his other scores, the nerve control knowing a $540 bounty was attached and a DTFC was hyped up beyond belief was certainly expressed in his reaction.
Oh my fucking god! Let's fucking go! What the fuck? Holy fuck! Dude, there's no way! How did I just do that?
Speaking of hyped up scores, ever since Vaxei proved an FC to be possible, a potential FC has been on tons of people's minds. Vaxei famously got quite a few runs to the ending in 2019, holding in some 1000 PP accuracy, back when there's only a handful of those in the entire game. Unluckily, he couldn't quite stick the landing, as the fabled cycle hit DTFC stood unclaimed. From then on, some players were actually able to make it to the ending, but the first person to FC was Emmerich.
Holy fuck, dude! What? What? What?
On the apparition, Emmerich's score was tied by Blue just 3 days later, with both players getting a 1 slider rig choke, but Blue getting slightly better accuracy.
Oh my god. Oh my god! What the fuck? What the fuck? 757 as well, what the fuck? What?!
Exit This Earth had a similar situation as the Apparition, where two FCs happened relatively close together in the year. First Hard Rock player got the first FC in October, and Badu managed to squeeze one out in December. Worst Hard Rock player definitely got the better score, however, getting only 7 100s, easily the map's best accuracy. Probably the score he's worked hardest for. Proxycodon was already a player who really put in the grind when he wanted to achieve a score, but this play was pushing the limits, even for him. The classical linear aim is made so much more difficult with the low density of AR-11 and CS 6.5, but what really sets this score apart is its accuracy. 97% may seem low, but he actually got 67 UR, because of how difficult it is to accurately tap lower BPMs on very high OD. I want use linear aim, and CS 6.5 precision is notoriously difficult, with the map being ranked in 2009 and being pretty straightforward compared to the other maps from that era. You already know that every old map player was attempting to slap DT on it. Considering the first DTFC was only in June 2021, I don't think anyone expected that just a few months later, Proxycodon would come in with the DT Hard Rock FC. Being approved in February 2011, Arnold's HD DTFC makes this the only DTFC in 11.5 years. Plenty of tricky aim and rhythm is to be seen here. All done with Hidden, pretty expected with a player like Arnold. An FC many people were looking forward to for a long time. Once a contender for the first 9-star FC and first 800 PP, over time, as reworks were pushed out, the hype for the map slowly died out. Despite all the God Mode clips of players hitting the jumps, no one could quite FC the rest of the map. The modern jumps people were training on didn't seem to help much on this 2013 classic. It took over 9 years and Lifeline's godly aim to finally finish this map. The death map is back. Well, if DJ Pop meant death as in finger control sections that barely follow the music, then he definitely succeeded. The map is littered with them, and with Kanbu being 300 BPM with DT, that's the main reason it went without an FC for almost 14 years. It's also worth mentioning Yasin, who got a 900 combo 1 miss back in August 2020. This category was for standardly mapped no-mod maps, holding many high-star jump and stream maps. Though if something was mostly streams, I would just leave it in flow aim.
This isn't even in my top 100, dude.
Few maps have the hype surrounding it like Painters of the Tempest. The 8000 combo of 200 and 215 BPM streams has been a player favorite ever since it was ranked, with the first no-mod FCs getting quite a bit of attention. The massive barrier to FC was the ending stream, which was easily the most difficult part of the map. The 500 note 200 BPM death stream is absolutely iconic, likely one of the first things that comes to mind when thinking of the map. It's a brick wall for many, standing in the way of any potential FCs, because one bad misaim can fail your entire run. Even 4 years ago, the map was getting quite far with Hard Rock, with Idki failing an FC on the last 10 notes. In 2019, BTMC would make a semi-viral video of his play on the map, getting nearly 1 million views, magnifying the hype tenfold. For years, people were attempting the map Hard Rock and seeming to get quite far, yet not enough to FC. Many would FC all the way to the ending stream, but fail, or miss before the ending stream, but FC it. Even Emmerich had his fair share of chokes, even as far back as 2 years ago. So think about the pressure that Emmerich is under as he's hitting the ending. At any point, his nerves could get the best of him, like they have many times in the past, and he could end up failing and losing everything.
Yes! Holy fuck! Holy shit! My second one just turned off.
The King Henry is a pretty infamous mapper due to his unplayer-friendly mapping choices. though structurally, this is one of his more simpler maps. However, this does not make it anywhere near easy. 9-star 266 BPM death streams isn't a big deal anymore, especially for most top speed players. But combining that with awkward filler and stream angles, now that's an evil map. Emmerich isn't exactly the first player you would think of who can play these kind of awkward patterns, but he's shown himself time and time again to slay these kinds of maps.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
It's funny how quickly the game progresses once a massive barrier has been broken. Bubbleman getting the first ever FC on the map in 2021 was voted the 25th best score of that year. And here we are with 3 other FCs, even more chokes, and now a hard rock choke by Emmerich. His flow aim and stability on these high BPM streams is completely unrivaled, making the leaderboard look like a joke. Along with his other plays, Whitecat had some mind-blowing aim plays, showing how high the hard rock skill ceiling really is. One of his best scores, in my opinion, is his Call Me It hard rock one-miss choke, a 9.2 star jump map by Fort. He got a little silly miss right before the last section, which he ended up hitting anyway. I wonder if this is a trend.
Oh no.
Another one of these choked scores is his one slider break hard rock choke on IF. This one's a little different though, as he missed 20% into the map, later FCing the rest. If you ever feel bad for choking constantly or seeming to miss on nothing, you are definitely not the only one. These two scores are so similar that I might as well show them together. It's a little funny how close together they are, even sharing the same miss count. Whitecat ended up holding a slightly larger combo, but didn't use Hidden. But Cookiesy used Hidden, but broke slightly earlier. Other than that, both plays are nearly identical. They weren't exactly too close to FCing, since the end is much harder than the rest of the map. But just so you know, Cookiesy's play would be around 1200 PP for FC, and Whitecat's around 1100. Similar to Painters, this was Hard Rock choked by Idkey almost 4 years ago, and since then, pretty much every Hard Rock AIM player has given it a shot. It's one of the few ranked maps with such high spacing, but also relatively low BPM. Also due to its length and decently high circle count, it can give a good 600 PP for a Hard Rock choke. Quite farmable for players with the aim. I'm sure you know, comboing up to the ending and actually hitting the ending take entirely different ballparks of skill and patience. I'll let Wixinator show the chokes and grinding that led up to this.
This happened to me. I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. The night goes on as I'm fading away. I'm sick of this life, I just wanna scream. How could this happen to me?
After around 600 attempts, she finally got the run she needed.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Any sort of low AR reading generally plays with Easy fit in this category. Like the memory section, I had a lot of help from different Easy players, so there are plenty of unique plays here.
KTGC is a pretty infamous mapper in the community. If you enjoy old maps and weird reading challenges, you've probably heard of him. This brings us to one of my favorite maps of his, also known as Gengazo Foon. Its design incorporates linear jump stream patterns that test your stamina and finger control, but the hardest aspect of this map is reading it consistently. That's why, to me, Pierce's easy hidden score on this is so impressive. He managed to get 1800 combo into the map, but sadly broke right near the end. Although, earlier this year, he managed to get a full combo with Easy. His near FC with Easy hidden definitely stands out for its difficulty compared to just Easy. Max191 is no stranger to setting incredible scores with Easy. His reading, combined with consistent aim and technical skill, allows him to set scores only few could imagine. This brings us to Kreutz's map set of Fallen. Infamously known for its mind-boggling sliders and brutal difficulty, it's a map that even the best of the best could only dream of full comboing. However, with the help of Easy in halftime, Max would do just that. He would start off by setting the first ever full combo on the map with 97.59% AC, but having dropped 16 slider ends, this would not be enough to satisfy him. And only 3 days later, he would manage to fix his AC and set an astonishing 99.91% full combo with only one 100. Now, at this point, most people would have stopped here, but Max, being the Giga Chad he is, would come back literally another 3 days later to finally set things straight and SS this map with Easy halftime once and for all. Nimp's difficulty on Fantasy Note is a prime example of the recent trend of Air Zero maps in the rank section. While many players scoff at these maps, the ones who could play it get a chance to finally compete on a global leaderboard. The map starts out with a constantly changing BPM that's frustrating with Air Zero. After that, it jumps right into some space streams and cross-screen sliders that require perfect precision, reading, accuracy, and memory to even comprehend with Hard Rock. Boshyman was the first to grind this map with Hard Rock, and eventually FC'd after 93 submitted attempts, stating it to be the hardest grind of his whole career. After Boshy claimed his number 1, GN would do a little bit of trolling and snipe him with a hidden FC. But while Boshy and GN were duking it out for number 1, Max191 would work in the shadows to memorize the map with both hidden and Hard Rock. And only 2 days after GN's FC, and almost 1,000 attempts later, it would all fall into place. When you think of the artist ILL, there's a good chance the name Akoro comes to mind. Back in 2022, his infamous SS on Sputnik would send shockwaves through the community, showcasing the insane amount of finger control he's capable of. But while his SS on Sputnik is impressive, this play takes things to a whole nother level. Combining easy DT on an AR0 polyrhythm map is, to put lightly, kinda hard. And I think it's safe to say that Akora will be the only player capable of FCing this map for a long time.
This category was a catch-all for a lot of skill sets, meaning there are some very technical maps, but also maps that aren't so obviously tech. I put anything here that had the common traits of a tech map, such as cut streams, tricky flow aim, difficult rhythm, slider-heavy sections, etc. Comparing how impressive this is to the attention it got, this is probably one of the most slept-on scores this year. The map is already nearing 8 stars without Hard Rock, and the best miscount is 2 by White Cat. With Hard Rock, the now 8.6 star technical aim has basically every other top player stumped, with the Hard Rock leaderboard being filled with double-digit miscounts. Not to mention, one of the 2 misses are on the last few objects of the map. This miscount will definitely stay undefeated for a long time. Badu has already proved his dominance on the map with his No-Mod FC almost 2 years ago, though it's obvious he wasn't done yet. At CS6, this 8-star Sliderfest stumped every other top player due to its immense aim difficulty just on No-Mod. Despite 5 minutes of all that, he didn't get a single miss. Among the variety of scores he's brought along this year, Pro-Oxycodon has proven himself to have some of the best technical aim the game has ever seen. His ability to hit cut streams and fast technical aim is completely unrivaled. Combine that with his godlike precision and his ability to slap Hard Rock on anything, it creates some really nuts scores. With the amount of DT scores Matthew has set over the past year, it's extremely hard to narrow them down. During his most active points, he was setting many 700 or 800 PP scores every single session, many of which were number ones. He's also one of the handful of players to have more than 100 800 PP scores. However, I only picked a few plays that I think represent him best as a player throughout each category. I just want to give special mention to this score as I think it encapsulates all of Matthew's best skills. Speed, finger control, sliders, and just generally technical patterns. This map is a perfect example of what I would consider tech, and Matthew just rips it up.
No! Wow. I was not expecting to FC on that run.
An unbelievably consistent player in pretty much every skill set imaginable. He's similar to Mathy as he enjoys racking up unique number ones, most notably on high-end tech maps. Honestly, an hour-long video could be dedicated to him and his mountain of underrated technical scores, but I felt these 8 were some of his best. While Mathy's dominating technical maps with DT, Malashevsky is destroying them with every other mod. No mod, hidden, or even hidden hard rock. This man is well-rounded as a bowling ball. He actually FC'd this map first with no mod with 97%, but came back a few months later to improve his accuracy to 98.8 while using hidden. What Malashevsky has done twice, no one has even done once, or made it even past 1500 combo. A perfect example of his outstanding technical ability. As Transhumanist is such an aggressive song, it was perfect for the mapper to absolutely not hold back. Even with the slider rework buffing the map by 0.7 stars to 7.6, it still feels extremely underweighted. It's one of the few ranked maps to have accelerating sliders, though that's not to say the other sliders aren't hard. I'm sure you can see, these practically full-screen sliders are not friendly to aim or read in the slightest. Malashevsky shines through the rest of the leaderboard, getting only 2 misses and the best accuracy by 2%. Despite how difficult this looks, the score was unbelievably slept on, getting less than 50 upvotes on Reddit. Another extremely underrated score by Malashevsky. I wasn't kidding when I mentioned being able to make a 1-hour compilation of his scores. Though, the star rating at aim doesn't seem too difficult, this map is very deceiving. The sliders guide your cursor to pretty much every corner of the playfield, needing a unique kind of aim skill that no one on the leaderboard seems to possess. If it wasn't cool enough to have a hidden hard rock FC on a map with only 2 other FCs, he dropped 2 slider ends, 10 less than the other FCs. Worst hard rock player, the Cutstream God. Time and time again, he would just drop the most monster, unexpected scores on the most stupid of maps. 9-star Cutstreams? Who even attempts that? Him, apparently. When you have a score that has even Badoo floored, you know you got something special. It's mostly been forgotten by now, but Vaxei went on a tech rampage with Hard Rock at the beginning of 2022. There were periods where he was getting 6 or 7 very notable plays every single day. He was just casually eating up these 8-star tech maps like it was another day at work. Vaxei and only Vaxei can slap Hard Rock on a map like this and get the same miscounts others do no mod. This entire play is just him showing off his absurd mechanics. It's 9.3 stars, but he only got 12 misses. His technical skill cap is just so far off what any player can do, even today. The funniest part is this was done in January 2022, so imagine what he could pull off if he was still active. Along with his mechanics, he could get extremely high accuracy FCs as well. With only 13 100s, there's only a handful of those that can even match it no mod. Vaxei actually has a no mod FC with 3 100s from 2019, which is the best AC on the map to this day. Destroying the no mod leaderboards obviously wasn't enough, so he had to do it with the Hard Rock one as well. Unsurprisingly, Emmerich has achieved a respectable amount of technical scores this year, especially dominating the more mechanically demanding maps. Ripping through 8.5 star sliders in Euclid, or heavy finger control and slider sections like in XU, the sky's the limit for Mr. Wreck. Emmerich isn't exactly known for this sort of finger control, but once again, he's stepped up to FC this 2015 finger control beast. The constant cuts, doubles, triples, streams throughout, you're likely gonna lose stamina and tank your accuracy. Likely one of Emmerich's best accuracy plays. Emmerich actually has quite the skill for high BPM sliders, though there aren't many plays that showcase it. His incredible reading for jumps obviously is seemed to translate well, as he makes this map look like a piece of cake. This category is for any flashlight or AR Infinity score. I had a lot of help picking scores for this category, so there are definitely some interesting picks, and scores most people haven't heard of before.
Kalu's knack for learning extremely long maps of Flashlight came in quite helpful this year. When you realize how broken the PP system is on maps with extremely high object counts combined with EZ and Flashlight, he set the first easy halftime FLFC on This Place Will Grow, a different Renard Marathon and 1045 PP at the time it was set. Maybe realizing at the potential of setting something greater, he moved on to Miss Magnus' new Because Maybe Part 3. Easily the hardest Renard Marathon, coming in at 8.47 stars. On and off grinding attempt and attempt, slowly inching his way to an FC. After 3 months of attempts, all the stars aligned in this run, missing only at the beginning of the last song and momentarily achieving the OSU standard PP record at 1253 PP. KT09's easy hidden halftime flashlight play on the Sun, the Moon, and Stars is one of the best memorization scores that happened this year. He FC'd with easy halftime flashlight earlier in the year, but adding hidden to this is a whole different story. With hidden, you don't have the luxury of approach circles and hit objects guiding your way, with much of the screen and objects you are hitting being straight up invisible. 24 minutes of reading and memorization hell is all I can describe on screen. The Unforgiving is undoubtedly the most famous map to be FC'd with Flashlight. This 52-minute ultramarathon map is known for Minus Yin's grind back in 2021 to get the first FLFC on the map, followed by Konglulu's FC. Jigo is a pretty unusual player as he had no major Flashlight experience and was completely unknown to the Flashlight community. Yet, he grinded it himself and almost FC'd, missing 200 combo from the end, and snagging a near 800 PP play. It's insane that this happened in the first place. Nearing an FC on the Unforgiving is a dream for many, but it usually stays a dream, just because the effort and especially the patience to memorize 45 minutes of OSU mapping well enough to FC it, it's a tall order to say the least. A few months after his Flashlight only choke, this madman decided he wanted to attempt it with Hidden Flashlight. While not impossible, it will take an extreme amount of dedication to FC with Hidden, significantly more than Flashlight. With all the invisible sections because of the low approach rate, oh my god. Keep in mind, all this time when score was set, there was not even a hidden FC on the map. It's safe to say with the amount of blind spots in this map, it is easily one of the best memory scores of this year.
Lazweir had tons of insane plays this year, such as Gorshit's semantic compositions on Death and Its Meaning, and Shotgun Symphony, both being some insane AR Infinity scores. We chose to talk about this one though, due to the fact that it's with easy hidden FL. The AR is so low to the point where once you get to 200 combo, nothing is readable, so it all comes down to pure memorization. Lazweir actually has an easy FLFC, but he wanted to improve his score by adding hidden. Due to the map being very difficult, this play has a huge aim factor with lots of blind jumps. Though it may look like there's tons of misses, it's very easy to chain miss or note lock with hidden FL. Just see the play for yourself.
Expo, let's bring it back. Expo, then we got Expo,
Arendo's score on Astro Sexy was a very long grind with 8 chokes until he officially FC'd. For him, this score took over 2 years to get an FC, with many easy NFL pass combinations, with even an easy FL FC. This score also caused him to get $100 from Redacted after he got his FLFC. On another note, he also got the first SS on the map, after it being rigged for almost 13 years. In some FL players' opinions, this was one of the best FL scores of this year, with nearly 9,000 combo in total. He got a tragic choke and missed in the last 1,500 combo of the map, but still managed to hold a 99 and only get 3 misses. If we will talk about the map for a short amount of time, this map is overall not mapped very well for FL, with really inconsistent spacing and a huge lack of structure, but SCHFAG was still able to pull through. Overall, top score on Living Things is pretty monumental due to it being so close to the first full mod FC on the map. For those who might not know, this map comes to a total combo of around 5,200, with it being over 35 minutes long. Due to the map being very long, some of the diff spikes become very difficult to hit with nerfs due to some of the map being completely blind or with tons of fast sliders.
For this category, I defined alt as any map that was 150 BPM or lower, where the difficulty came with the flow aim requirement. Pablo is one of my favorite underrated players right now. He's quite well-rounded, but focuses more on streams and especially alt DT. Along with his stellar accuracy, you'll find him destroying leaderboards left and right. Though throughout all those plays, according to him, his best is his Planet Shaper DT 2 miss. The map throws everything possible at you. Tricky flow aim, cut streams and stacks, and plenty of aim control. The map being 6 minutes of course doesn't help either, leaving plenty of room for error. It's easily the map's best miscount, stomping DT legends like Mathy, Majora, and Elysian. I don't think there's any better display of the DT alt skill Pablo has built up over the years than this. Trail Mix isn't exactly known for 1 or 2 scores, but for being very consistent and versatile with number 1s on all sorts of maps and mods. Though this is one score that definitely stands out from the rest. A rare modern version of one of Susumu Hirasawa's songs, it's a clean and often symmetrical 120 BPM alt map. The main kickers are the abnormally long kiais, which coupled with the speed you have to move your cursor, can lead to very high strain. Not to mention the last ki is over a minute long, so combining that with nerves is very deadly. Getting to the end is one thing, but FCing is a whole different story.
Oh my god!
That's my best score. That's my best score.
Milo Milkshake is a similar player to Trail Mix, who's often found on leaderboards of lesser played maps sporting Hard Rock and DT. His big achievement this year was FCing Colors DT, a 5.65 star alt map with honestly quite the banger of a song. The map went without a DTFC for a few years, until a $100 bounty for the score was posted and a mass scramble by various top players commenced. Congrats on the $100, Milo.
No way. No way! No way! What? No! Oh, no! Oh my god.
Majora is quite well known for pushing the boundaries with DT and his passives, and I think he shines brightest in the DT alt skillset. The aim required for Sanae-san is unbelievably relentless, with the HP reminding you that even with few too many mistakes, you can lose your entire run. Being a 6.86 star alt map and 9.72 with DT, this is one of my favorite passes from this year. This category has anything CS 6.5 or smaller, since that's the size most tournaments use for their precision pick. Though, quite a few plays here are much smaller than that. By far the best precision player this year is Proxycodon. His skill and persistence to grind out even the most stupid of scores totally paid off this year. He's shown incredible consistency on CS 7.8 and higher, while also pushing skill cap and a high star rating. Higher circle size maps are often gimmicky and unusual, but conquering strange maps is likely one of his greatest strengths. Easily Peroxycodon's most underrated skill is his ability to combo CS 7.8 and above. Being consistent and stable with your aim on high CS is always tricky, since there's so little room for error. Mappers already seem to know this, as I come across the most ranked CS7 maps around the 30-second to 2-minute range. Nerves are also much more difficult to handle. Imagine if you started shaking on CS8, you would just miss the note. Despite this, Peroxycodon has demonstrated stability and consistency leagues better than any player before him. After mentioning Peroxycodon's consistency, it's only fitting to mention this. The map consists of 1 minute and 30 seconds of nothing but circles, which come with none of the aim leniency sliders do. Combine that with the fact that circles are constantly moving around the play area, the map is practically begging you to miss. The map is also AR0 no mod and OD11, needing godlike processing to even get decent looking AC. This map is almost CS7 and has 8-star sliders and jumps for 2.5 minutes. I don't think there's much else that needs to be said. Honestly, this score could just as easily fit in iconic maps, as this has been attempted by pretty much every potential FC'er. It's evident by the leaderboards that the diff spike at 300 combos is quite deadly, and who else to set the first FC than Peroxycodon? This category was for any maps that had extremely unique patterns that you would rarely find in other maps. It's a bit of a vague description, but once you see the scores here, you'll start to understand. This song is certainly unique, to put it lightly. And of course for a unique song, it's only fitting to give it a unique map. Tricky buzz sliders, uncomfortable to read bubble sliders, accelerating movement, tricky triangles. I could really go on. These patterns don't sound too scary on their own, but keep in mind, this map is over 5 minutes long, requiring solid consistency on everything I mentioned and more. Despite how one shit miss on any of those patterns can ruin an entire run, Pro decided to take it one step further and add Hard Rock. This daring move paid off, as after only a few attempts, he ended up as the first ever FC, and the first ever Hard Rock FC at once. Wowie's ability to learn the most stupid of maps has always been one of his best strengths. There's a reason Wowie map has pretty much been a coined term for gimmick maps on the lower star rating. It's hard to fully grasp how difficult this map is to aim and snap to by just watching the replay, so I encourage anyone and everyone to give this map a try. Throw everything you know about how a normal map's rhythm is structured, and essentially you have this.
I understand.
I guarantee none of you have heard about this, but I felt this score was worth including due to how unusual it is. A 12-minute Filthy Frank map, nearing 8 stars in difficulty, sounds like it would strike fear to any normal player, except Antonio, who seemingly made it his quest to get the first Hard Rock FC. Currently, there's only one No-Mod FC on the map, by Badu, yet that doesn't seem to faze him. After 74 submitted attempts, which is almost 15 hours of playtime on this one map, his best run is currently a 1 slider break choke with Hard Rock. Despite this unfortunate miss, this is still the number 3 play on the map, towering over countless other top players. I wish him the best of luck as he continues this grind. One of the few scores in this year's video that can claim to be the first FC and also the first SS, with the AR 8.5 overlaps being very easy to misread, with some tricky rhythms here and there. By all accounts, this score should not have happened. There have been other FCs on a diff with slightly higher AR and even a 99% FC by Ikoro, but none have demonstrated the perfection that this play has. Squirrel Pascal's maps are a little infamous for having extremely long low star sections, and I feel like Summertime Rolls is the perfect example. It takes 3.5 minutes before the map even starts to pick up, but once it picks up, oh boy does it not stop. Full screen jumps and extremely fast CS 5.2 sliders, all at the end of a nearly 5-minute map? It's like it was never meant to be full comboed. Yet, it was. After playing this map 15 times in a row, and needing to play the tedious intro every single time, he got this run.
Serious.